eastern coast. The government of the state of New South Wales has issued a state of emergency ahead of worsening weather conditions expected this weekend.
We're taking every single precaution to be prepared for what could be a horrible day on Saturday. We know that temperatures will be in the mid-40s in parts of the state.
People have taken heed of the warnings and have hit the road, joining long lines of traffic. There are limited supplies of both fuel and groceries. Reports suggest some have waited over 5 hours at supermarkets in hopes of purchasing food and water. Meantime, a volunteer firefighter who died battling a wildfire last month was remembered today as a selfless leader who loved what he did. Australia's Prime Minister was among those in attendance for the funeral of Jeff Keaton. Keaton and another firefighter died December 19th when a tree fell into the path of their tanker, causing it to roll. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service shared this heartbreaking photo on its Facebook page of the fire commissioner pinning a medal of bravery and service on the shirt of Keaton's young son. For more on this, let's bring in freelance journalist Tyson Whelan. He joins us now from Lake Entrance, Australia. Tyson, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
All right, so Tyson, break down, what is it like where you are right now? Because I understand that they're evacuating tourists and asking people to leave their homes.
Yeah, well, actually, in the last 2 hours, we've had to evacuate Lake Entrance. So I'm calling you from a different place at the moment. It is quite scary what has happened in these last couple of hours. The Victorian government, along with the New South Wales government, which is, of course, the state north of us, have declared a state of disaster. And that means that the Victorian government and the authorities have new and unprecedented powers to essentially compel people to evacuate these areas. The danger over the next 48 hours is substantially worse than many thought. And certainly our family, along with many, many other families, are leaving while they can, because there is only really one major highway into this region in East Gippsland where there are still 50 fires burning at this stage. So in this last few hours, and certainly until morning, many people will be leaving and evacuating while they can.
And what's the forecast like for the next coming days out there?
Well, there's a few different weather conditions that many in the fire authorities are considering. So one major factor is the humidity levels. There is very little moisture in the air, less than 10%, which is an unprecedented level, and lack of humidity, which means even during the night, fires are still ravaging these forests that are so dry. On Saturday, we're expecting temperatures to exceed 40 degrees Celsius, weathers to pick up, the wind rather to pick up to 50 kilometres an hour. Tomorrow, it's expected that the fire fronts will move closer to some coastal townships with northerly winds pushing them towards tens of thousands of people. It is quite a scary situation at this stage. And as I said, the Victorian government has declared a state of disaster, which means that they will indeed be forcing people to evacuate while they can.
And I know they're forcing people to evacuate, but there are always those people who want to stay behind. What are the military telling people to do?
As we write, in the last 24 hours, the Australian Defence Force has been called in to help with these evacuation efforts. In the township of Malakuta, it's a township that is highly isolated. Around 5,000 people were there when fires enveloped the whole township. At this stage, there is 2 military ships off the coast of Malakuta that are helping evacuate people, particularly those that are sick, as well as children and families. There are also Chinook helicopters moving into the area. It is so heavily isolated, and this is what the military has had to do in order to help save these people. The military might have to take an increased role in the next 24 hours as more communities become isolated. Around 30 townships are going to be isolated or already are. And in the last few hours, we've also heard that another gentleman has lost his life while he was trying to save his home, which is 2 people that have lost their lives in the last 24 hours.
Such tragic news. Thank you so much for this